And I put the two main things is you have to at least make a conference finals on top of like you're definitely making the playoffs every year, but at least a conference finals over the next 3 years. And I think you have to land a like solidified bona fide number 2. Like the number 2 player next to Luka. I think you have to have that person. If it's KP or not, you have to have a running mate next to Luka. And they swung for it. Like they swung for it with KP because they knew how good Luka was. They seen how good Luka was and said, all right, we need to go get that second star. We were talking about that like, hey, at some point you got to go swing and try to get the second star for your young player. They swung for it with KP. The jury's still out on that, but they at least swung for that. And you look at players like, for instance, look at Dwayne Wade early in, I know we're not big Wade fans, but like look at Wade in Miami in his early days. He was good, but what happened? Year 2, they traded for an older Shaq and they swung for it. Now it turned into a championship for them. It worked, but like, that's the type of thing. You look at some of these. Can I go into my like theory thing? Okay.
Should I be ready with
it's not really conspiracy theory, but like it goes into like looking at some of these because I think as Mavs fans, we naturally want to lump Luka into the Dirk category of like Dirk stayed forever, so Luka has to stay forever. And even like the pessimist side of like, oh, Luka's just gone. Well, let's look at a couple of these players that have stayed like over the past 20 years that have stayed with their franchise. You're looking at the Giannis's, the Dirks, Stephs, Dames, Duncan, Kobe. And I just want to throw Wade in there. I know he went to the Cleveland, all that stuff towards the end, Chicago, but throw Wade in there a little bit. Look at some of these players and look at the play, like why they stayed with the franchise, and see if there's any similarities in that. Look at Giannis, look at Dirk, look at Steph, look at Dame. All 4 of these guys stayed with their franchise. Outside of Dame, all 3 of those guys have won titles. Was there any sense of loyalty to that team because that team took the chance on them, because that team like developed them? It took time. Like even Dame, Weber State, Steph coming out of Davidson, wasn't number 1 pick overall. He had ankle issues. Like there was an investment in that franchise into them. Dirk, Giannis, it took time. So therefore there was an investment in that organization into the player that player felt that into them. Luka, I'm pro Mavs of everything. Luka didn't need Dallas. Like Luka didn't need the Mavs. Luka was already amazing. Arguably the most decorated European player to ever come to the United States. Like he was so good year 1. So you look at some of the guys like Duncan, Kobe, Wade, and you say, okay, look at these guys. They stay with their franchise. Well, what's the difference of these guys? They were so good so early. Well, what happened with them? Duncan won a title his second season. Kobe went to the Western Conference Finals his second season. Wade, they get Shaq his second season. They win the title in his third season. You got to win. You have to win early. So for me, I'm looking at this, and I could be completely wrong and say, Isaac, you're crazy. I look at this in one of 2 ways. If you want your star to stay with your franchise and organization for a long time, you either need to show the loyalty, show that you're invested into them, show that you're developing them, which that really fully isn't there for Luka because he was already there and already at a high level. Or you need to show that you can win and win at a very high level, that they can look at their team and say, man, I won early and I want to continue winning with this organization. Did that make any sense?
Should we all turn in our text to page 400? Are you about to read a verse?
At this point, Matthew 4.
No, 100%. I think